Hi, welcome to Saunders Sisterhood. I'm Carrie. This is a YouTube channel for the single and childless, not by choice person. Today we are talking about how to feel more comfortable going out and doing things by yourself. So some solo date tips. As we get older, and if we're not partnered and don't have kids, sometimes it's hard to consistently find people to go and do things with, particularly on the weekend. And it can sometimes be hard to feel comfortable and secure going out and doing those things that you want to do by yourself. Sometimes we wait until we find someone to do those things with, and then we end up missing out, or we end up staying at home and feeling isolated and lonely, and sometimes our brain runs away with a lot of distorted or inaccurate thoughts, or sometimes accurate thoughts that actually aren't serving us. So I am doing a video on some tips that I want you to keep in mind to go out and do things whether you have someone to do them with or not. My first suggestion is to go to places where most people are alone first, to help yourself get comfortable with going alone. So some examples of this are the park. If it's warmer weather where you are, take a blanket, take a book, and go to the park and read out in the sun. Other places that most people go alone, if you have a dog, take them to the dog park. Also, a coffee shop is another place where it's not unusual to see people there alone. People also go there with other people, but more often than not, if you go to one of those places, you won't be the only one alone. And if that feels more comforting to you and like you're more likely going to follow through, start there. Start there, and then we will build up to things that get more and more outside your comfort zone initially. The next thing is, speaking of that dog park, if you have a dog, consider bringing your dog with you if the place you want to go allows them. A lot of places now do allow dogs to sit out on decks, patios, or outdoor seating. Dogs can be a real conversation starter, so they will likely attract attention. It can also get you used to and comfortable with talking to people when you are out by yourself and getting to know people that are strangers, meeting people that are new, and having small talk with people. I know not everybody has a dog, and so I definitely have some tips for you if that's you. Don't forget though to subscribe to this channel if you are single and childless, not by choice, and want more videos geared toward you. Okay, more tips. Okay, the next step up from the park or a coffee shop or a dog park doing something alone is think about a movie. I always recommend a movie to do something alone if you're feeling insecure because one, it's not a place where people are really talking to each other. You're in the dark, and so nobody's really gonna see you. So choose a movie that you're motivated to see, that you really want to see, and don't think about the fact that you're going alone. And odds are you're not likely the only person that's in the movie theater alone. You know, when you go to the movies with somebody else, you're not even paying attention, right? Because you're paying attention to who's there. I will tell you, when you go to the movie alone, you start to notice the other people that are alone, and you start to realize that you're not the only one that does go to movies alone. One thing that I would put out there is if you are really worried about it or feeling a lot of anxiety about it, go to matinees, either during the week or even on the weekends. Oftentimes they're cheaper anyway, so you kill two birds with one stone. That brings me to my next tip, is go and do things earlier in the day. People are more likely going to be alone, and it'll be less likely kind of full of couples and you're the only solo person there, if that matters to you. So if you want to go somewhere for lunch, maybe you go at around like 11 o'clock or noon. If you want to go somewhere for dinner, maybe you go at like 4 or 5. Those are the things that I do because I get to be able to go out and I get to kind of leave before all the couples come in, all the dates come in. It's also really crowded generally later, and I generally don't like being in a lot of crowds. Parking is better. There's just so many benefits to it. I can see why old people like doing things during the early bird times. The next thing is consider sitting outside, away from like the main part of the restaurant if you're going to a restaurant or a cafe or something like that. Consider sitting outside. You're away a little bit more when it's a beautiful day. It feels really good. You get some sunshine, you get some vitamin D, you can hear the birds chirping, you can people watch, you could read a book there if you want to and maybe not feel as self-conscious about it. But sit outside if that's available to you. If it's not available to you, the other thing I recommend if you're going to a restaurant, you can tell I usually go to restaurants alone because I'm talking a lot about them, is sit at the bar. And I like to do this. Sometimes it's cheaper. Sometimes the bartenders are a little friendlier. So not only am I out and doing things, but I am interacting with other people. It's usually where people are alone if they are going out. You know, a lot of people who travel a lot and they go out to restaurants, they're generally sitting at the bar. You often don't have to wait as long. Like, there's lots of benefits to being able to do this. And you kind of feel like you're in this area where people are a little bit more casual than in the main dining space, but you still have access to the same menu and things like that. The last tip that I have for you is remember to have a plan. Think ahead of time about what you want to do, where you want to go, and what time you're going to go. You're more likely going to do it if you have those details set versus getting like more anxious the closer it gets and then backing out. Now, having said that, one of the benefits of being able to do things solo is that you get to switch up the plan if you need to. If something else presents itself, it's really easy to just throw a U-E or pivot and do something different. So have a plan, but keep it flexible. Maybe you go to the movies and then when you're done with the movie, you're really enjoying yourself. And so you want to stop off at the restaurant after and have an appetizer. You get to do that because you can. Maybe you want to go to the park and you had such a great time at the park. Then you want to go to a cafe and have some coffee, or you want to go to the mall and stroll the mall or an outdoor shopping center. Have a plan for that initial thing, but be flexible if something else comes up. Thinking ahead, having a plan, and following these tips are ways to help reduce anxiety and increase follow-through for you to go out there and do some things on your own. To get out in the world, to experience the things that you want to do, even if it feels like that you don't have anybody to do them with, or you feel like you're constantly at the mercy of somebody else's life and somebody else's schedule. Because you're pretty wide available, but you're constantly wondering what day and time is my friend available, because that's going to be the only time I can do things. Take a little more autonomy, take a little bit more, take the reins a little bit more for your life. Just because you're doing things alone doesn't mean you're pathetic, doesn't mean everybody is staring at you, doesn't mean that you're whatever self-judgment you're placing on yourself. What it actually means is that you're getting out there, you're living your life, you're doing the things you want to do, you're experiencing things that you want to experience, and I'm telling you, people aren't noticing. And if they are noticing, they're noticing in a way of, oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one who does things alone, or they're noticing in a way in which I wish I could go do that. And I've said this before, but if your brain is telling you everybody else has somebody to go do things with, I'm the only one that's doing things alone, I want you to think back to this video and I want my face to pop up in your brain and you can say, you know what, Carrie's probably doing something alone. I'm in Florida right now where I don't know many people, and I will be damned if I'm not going to experience the city that I'm in and going and doing these things. These are the tips that I myself follow. I didn't just pull them out of nowhere. These are tips from experience. What I would love is those of you who do things alone, I would love you to put your tips on the comments below, because this is something that I want to challenge all of us in the community to do. All right, that's our video for today. Don't forget to subscribe to Saunders Sisterhood. This is a channel for the single and childless, not by choice person. If you are not single or childless, but you relate to this content, we welcome you, and subscribe as well. I'll see you in the next video. Right, Gav?